It is Wednesday, June 17th, and I am Coach A coming at you with the day number 94 of our at-home training series. Today, we're going with one single workout. It's going to be a 20-minute AMRAP. If you are familiar with whoever done the CrossFit benchmark workout, Nicole, this is pretty much the same thing with handstand push-ups instead of pull-ups. So, let's get into it. 20 minutes. We're going to run a 400. When you get back, the goal is as many unbroken handstand push-ups in one set as you can do. Unbroken for this context will mean you can stay up on the wall and breathe, or breathe on the head if you are kipping. Kipping is acceptable, and it is still considered unbroken. However, do not rest on your head for a long time. That's not good for your neck. Let alone, I don't even like doing kipping handstand push-ups in the first place. But they will be acceptable. So, 20 minutes, 400-meter run, and a max effort set of unbroken handstand push-ups. Your score for the workout will be the total number of handstand push-ups accomplished in the entirety of the 20 minutes, keeping in mind every time you break, you have to run a 400. Now, something that's super important, there could be some strategy in this if you want there to be some strategy in this. It doesn't have, we're not doing anything for time here, so it doesn't have to be the fastest turnover thing in the world. I know a lot of people will probably run the 400, stop, breathe for at least 15 seconds or so, try and shake their shoulders out a little bit before they pop up on the wall for their handstand push-ups. Some people might dog the 400s a little bit, pace them out so that they have a better shot at the handstand push-ups. Some people will just go, go, go and try and get that extra round or two of handstand push-ups in. You can do this however you like. Stick around, I will demonstrate the handstand push-up options as well as modifications and the band face pull in the warm-up for those of you that don't know how to do a banded face pull. Alright guys, if you haven't done the band face pull before that we're going to use in the warm-up today, here's how we would do it if you've done this with a cable machine, and that's all you have, that is fine as well. So, I'm going to take the band, I'm going to anchor it. In this situation, it's going to be just above my head. It can be anywhere really from about the chest up to the top of the header. So if it has to be above us, and we're pulling down a little bit, that's fine. Just make sure we're holding the same kind of positions here. So I'm going to grab it with a double overhand grip. Hands, I prefer a little bit inside the shoulders when I'm using a band. I'm going to pull them apart a little bit on the row, so they're going to end up being shoulder width anyway. There, I'm going to pull this band back underneath the chin. Elbows are aiming at being straight out. Wrists are going to be above the elbows, and they're going to be cocked in at about 90 degrees. Essentially, I'm just going to let them hinge as I row. All right, I'm trying to pull the shoulder blades back together, get as much depth and tension as I can before that band obviously hits me in the neck. Just trying to flex my traps back into each other. All right, for the workout, like I talked about earlier, we're looking at a 20-minute AMRAP, 400-meter run, out and back, go around, back in, and then I'm going to go for a max effort, unbroken set of handstand push-ups. If I'm doing them strict, there's not much point to me resting on the ground, so the only place that I would rest in the strict handstand push-up would be up here before I lower into that next one. Alright, that is fine and perfectly acceptable. Just keep in mind that resting up there for a while isn't necessarily going to be that much of a rest. At some point that becomes actual wearing down of the shoulders. If we are kipping, as I mentioned earlier, it's okay to rest in the bottom position. Again though, we reiterate that it's not a position we should be resting our shoulders in all that much, because then our neck is taking all the stress of our body weight. Also, keep in mind, the longer you guys rest at the bottom of that kipping position or the bottom of the handstand push-up, the heavier we are going to seem when we kick ourselves back up into that next rep, or we strict press ourselves back up. Stay tuned for movement modifications. So obviously if you guys need to change up the cardio from running a 400, obviously feel free to do so, to a row, a ride, or some kind of jump rope, that's fine. If we're looking at modifying this handstand push-up, keep in mind we can always push ourselves up and back into a pike position, whether the feet are on the floor against the wall, they're up on a bench, up on a box, something along those lines. Get a little elevation there, make yourself heavier. The key thing here is I want you to make sure you're pressing back through, looking for that fully extended, locked out position so that we're getting a true overhead extension position in there. Now, if that's not in the game for us, I want you to try and do a Z press. Doesn't really matter for the Z press. If we have a barbell, a single dumbbell or kettlebell, or two dumbbells or kettlebells. Z press, butt on the ground, knees locked out, legs straight, open somewhere around 90 degrees or so. If the mobility or lack thereof mobility is an issue for us, we can always bend those knees slightly or close the legs a little bit and work from there. This doesn't allow us to compensate lack of overhead mobility, arch in or arch out. It forces us to have a nice upright position. Sometimes that might force people to drive out in front a little bit more than they normally would in terms of going overhead. That's fine as long as we're maintaining spinal dexterity and extension.